Hey everybody, welcome back to the next edition of the video diary. As you can see, the beard is progressing along nicely. It's starting to go through kind of a rather annoying phase, to be completely frank. Especially the mustache, which is now sort of getting in my mouth every time I try to eat something or drink something. I gotta do this whole deal constantly now. My wife is not particularly thrilled with the beard at the length that it is, but you know, sometimes you have to make sacrifices. So today I wanted to show you a little bit of sort of my working space and how I spend my days these days. This is sort of the editing suite. This is where where most of the work gets done. As you can see, I've got my, we're cutting in Adobe Premiere. I've got my timeline right here and my footage. I've got my second monitor right here. This monitor right here is actually a 3D monitor. And I have software. We're using a plugin called Cineform that we use to be able to view all the footage, so that I can view the footage in 3D if I want to as I'm editing. And the way that I do that, do something like so, and boom, we're in 3D. And then I can throw my glasses on and see in 3D to sort of check where things are going. Now, I haven't been doing a whole lot of stuff actually viewing in 3D because there's corrections that we need to apply to it, and for the most part, the actual editing process is not super 3D intensive, but every once in a while, I'll pop into 3D mode to sort of check how things are going and to see if a cut between two different shots has some unexpected attribute in 3D that makes it work better or not work. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of sort of an idea of sort of why we decided to shoot this movie in 3D and what advantages shooting a found footage movie has in 3D. It's one thing to sort of explain this to people in an interview. It's another thing to sort of see it for yourself. And obviously you're not going to get the full experience because you're not going to be able to sort of see it in 3D at this point. But you'll get an idea of sort of what we're talking about when we talk about certain things about why we think the 3D in this movie is doing something new and different. So, I mean, this is just a sort of standard interview shot, obviously, not chosen for any particular reason other than that's what happened to land on. But even so, I mean, like the depth in this field and the way this sort of comes to life in a way that you've never seen before, because because people don't tend to do this kind of thing in 3D. But what you see, what you can tell even just by looking at this, especially if I switch back to the 2D version. Come on, there we go. One of the cool things about shooting on this camera that we're shooting on right now is, because it's this camcorder, everything, it has a really, really super what we call depth of field, which means that the stuff that's in focus spans a very, very wide range of distance. So obviously, right now the shot is designed to be focused on the two of them sitting here in the front of the shot. But the depth of field on this camera is so deep that we can see sort of the plants back behind them and the swing set behind them, and then even these plants way, way off in the distance and the clouds off in the background. Everything is still pretty much in focus. And what that allows you to do is to be able to sort of, as you're watching this, to sort of move your eyes to wherever it is you want to see on the screen, whereas with a more traditional movie, they would be in focus and everything behind them would be blurry, in which case looking at the tree wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense because the tree is out of focus and there's nothing that you can do to sort of make it be in focus. In this particular shot, that's not, a huge advantage because it's just two people sitting there giving an interview, so mostly you're going to be focusing on their faces anyway. But if you go to a shot like this one, which is one of these just beautifully composed shots that Drew, our director of photography, shot. You see that, again, we have this depth that occurs here. And when you watch this shot in 3D, it's an unexpectedly sort of beautiful thing, because we have them here in the front. We have the plane of the garage door there. We have the three of them standing around in the back. We've got this fence that's happening right here, and then we've got the trees. Actually, it's hard to tell here in 2D, but we have one tree that's sort of up here in the front, and then the sort of background of the woods that's way off in the distance. And the fact that you can sort of pick out anywhere in that any plane in that depth and sort of look at different things in there, really, it's very immersive in a way that most 3D movies aren't, because it really does make you feel like you're kind of just there in the movie with them. One of the other cool things about the 3D, again, is a lot of little things. So like on a shot like this, and I'll play a little bit of it. the flashlight beams, you know, are this physical sort of thing. You can really see the dust in this location because you can see these beams and you can see them coming into and out of the screen as they sort of pan around. And it's very sort of, again, it's very sort of immersive in a way that most 3D movies are not. You know, and then we have stuff like this where we have this the 3D GoPro rig that we used that shoots all of this in 3D. And there's some corrections that have to happen sort of for the distortion of the wide-angle lens. But this is, again, this is something that, you know, most people have never seen before. GoPro has sort of gotten into this 3D market a little bit, and they do some sports photography and stuff with it. But the idea that, like, you know, while he's standing right here, you know, that we can see everything here in 3D. And if I go back a little bit, you know, shots like this, where we've got him sort of way up in the foreground and this depth. Again, to me, like, that's, you know, this is a moment in the film where the distance between these two characters is really, really important. And so shooting it in this way where we really, really feel that distance is a, you know, a conscious choice on our part. And then, of course, as they sort of get together, you know, the distance between them closes, both, you know, physically and in the plane of the 3D. So, I mean, I don't really want to show you too much more just yet. I don't want to give anything away. But I'm very happy with the way things are coming along. I'm very happy with the cut so far. I feel like I'm making the movie that I set out to make, which is always sort of the big worry. You know, when you go into production on a movie, you have this thing in your head, and you just have to sort of hope and trust that the thing that's in your head is going to exist on the screen when you're done. There are some small moments and some problems that we're going to need to solve creatively from a you know, special effects point of view, from a narrative point of view, but nothing that's going to keep us from substantially realizing the vision for the movie that I had in my head when we were starting. And that's a testament to all the hard work that everybody has done to, you know, put this thing together over the course of 2.5 years almost. So thank you guys for coming along on the journey thus far, and my beard and I both thank you and hope that you will continue to tune in for future editions. So